Well, hello, good morning and welcome to the 50th Showbus. Unfortunately, the very last, the final Showbus. And we're proud to have been to about 40 of them over the years at many locations. And this is September 2022 and the sun's shining and there's lots of buses on their way in, we hope. What will we see here? Well, of course, we shall see what we shall see. It really is a pleasure having you all joining us, whether you're watching on DVD, digital downloads, or on clips on YouTube, whatever. And let's enjoy the day, and I'll speak to you all later. How's that? Once upon a time, quite a lot of the bus companies were owned wholly or partly by railway companies. One thing, you're doing a live commentary, you can drop a clanger and it's there for posterity, isn't it? So, Todmorden Joint Omnibus Committee is a bit, it sounds a bit like the SHMD, Stony High Mosley and Duckenfield Joint Electricity Bus Undertaking. And it's, yes, you've guessed it, the smaller the places, the bigger the name. In the post-deregulation world, London and country, one of the variants which staggered through. I think it looks lovely, this one actually. It's just spot on. It's not over preserved, it's, you know, it's got the odd dents and things, but it just looks like a bus that would be in service, and that suits me fine. It's got a screen up for Leatherhead Bus Garage. Anybody been to Leatherhead? Another Plaxton on AC chassis. Probably get this on a Leyland or an AEC chassis. I don't know, somebody will tell me all the 100 other variations that were possible on them, but those would have been the two common makes of chassis to be under it. No, don't fail on us, whatever you do, don't get stuck there. I suppose the contingency is the various sort of fences that can be pulled aside. But we don't want to have to get to that. Marshals of Sutton-on-Trent, we see them when I'm filming up at Newark. Usually when I'm filming lorries, and marshals are coming round the Hellfire corner of the roundabout near the sugar beet processing factory, one of the few left in the UK where we refine sugar. And what have we got next? London Country. By this stage, they no longer had sort of purpose-built vehicles, and they had to get the standards. In this case it was X1 Fleet Line. I've had the pleasure of working with the Online Transport Archive now for a bit, and I'm scanning their old cine films, and I've been fortunate to have some glorious films from the 50s, 60s, 70s perhaps, and it really sort of shows us a lot of the prototypes, the early ones, and that progression of vehicle design through from bespoke items such as the RT and the RM, and then when they had to sort of adapt things, RF, a very, very extensive class. These days, sort of thing that we get with ring and ride or dialer ride type operations. And I know when I was filming down in where was I filming? Milton Keynes, that a lot of the services have been replaced by this sort of minibuses. Now, Midland Classic, there we go, if Midland Classic, and this is theirs, it's actually Diamond Rotala. So they've taken it over, they sold out to Rotala, much mourned they're going, because it was one of the friendliest and most enthusiast-centred of the bus operations in the country, and in a very friendly part of the world down in Staffordshire, Burton-on-Trent. The origins really of the operations in Burton-on-Trent, going back to Burton Tramways and then Burton Corporation buses, and that became each Staffordshire, and so it went on. Stevenson's took them over, and they morphed backwards and forwards, and they've ended up as part of Diamond, which is a Rotala group operator, although really they were the Pits at one stage. I think they are now sort of getting their act together, and I know, looking at their buses up in Bury the other day, that they've got a very cohesive fleet there of very new vehicles. Bury, for a long time, really sort of got the old hand-me-downs. This is the haunt of the bendy bus, the old Mercedes. Are the buses still coming in? Yes. Oh yes, we've still got a nice queue out onto the road. More Route Masters, standard Route Master, BLT14, nice reg. So many of the Route Master registrations went on to be found on other vehicles, particularly up in Scotland. Scotland had a lot of second-hand Route Masters, and well, I think they're still sort of on buses now. And you can always sort of tell them, they're distinctive registrations. So this is a Route Master variant, the coach, RCL, longer, and would have had a higher spec interior and doors. We've got an Atlantean, I think, lined up back after Crawley luxury coaches. Mercedes, we were just talking about Mercedes, weren't we? Well, I must say the sun is getting up in the sky a bit, and I was a little bit worried it was going to be too much against the sun, but I think compared with some of the places we've been, I'm very happy with the effect we're getting as we bite into the second hour of our coverage. London Country, in another one of its guises, the Atlantean Fleet 9 variant. Yes, again demonstrating the later stages of the National Bus Company with the blocked in N symbol, standard National Bus Company livery, and you've got the light grey wheels. More, can you say, this is sort of labelled up. I guess this is in the that represents the period when Superbus at Stevenage was being rolled out, and this represents the sort of interim time. ECW, Bristol, sort of nationalised effort. Tilling companies. This one very very widespread, quite distinctive for its era. red and white, a much missed operator down on the sort of Welsh borders part of the country. The SM series again as London Transport to adapt the latest designs to their requirements, and eventually coming full circle, I actually did take a shot of a Metro Line bus yesterday when I was filming in St Albans, and I think that made up the number of operators that I'd seen there, up to 7. I think the last one was a centre bus that came through. One of the worst places in the country for photography though, particularly on a Saturday. These days I only go places on a Saturday if I'm there for a rally. And this is very handy showground. It's just off the M1 motorway. The RF class had its variant, and this one in Green Line livery. Green Line, a brand that's been tried to be sort of resurrected and morphed. It once was the byword in sort of coach commuting comfort. The main sort of remnant of this, not direct descendant but painted in the colours, is Sullivan's buses, who uses the old London country green in the sort of darker colour. Much more pleasing to the eye than the National Bus Company, because even today I think of, you know, vehicles in a similar sort of composition of colours, immediately, oh look, that's like the old London country buses. This one with the sideboards, yellow blinds, not all blinds everywhere were black and white. Still a queue out into the road. I think the entry to the Showground at the moment must be running at about 20 minutes to half hour. I think it got up to 2 hours one stage at Duxford, but they had to sort of do something because the police weren't very happy about it. There's worse things to get stuck by, although it can be very frustrating in an elderly vehicle to be in a long and broiling queue.
Spencer, what are we going to see today?
We shall see what we shall see. Oh dear. Now Potter's Bar is, I believe, home to Sullivan's, and I've been thinking that perhaps I'd like to go and sniff out the operations there. I don't think I've ever been there. It's nice to have somewhere that I haven't been to, so I can go somewhere different. Yeah, when I started doing the old we shall see what we shall see, I never knew it'd become a catchphrase, perhaps even more ubiquitous now than the old see you next year at Showbus. And the daft thing is that people were shouting at me, but I meet people all over the world who know me now. Oh yeah. I couldn't be up to no good, could I? Because one of our viewers is watching me everywhere. Nice lingering look at the buses as they come through, and a chance for people to admire their vehicle. It's very difficult, you know, when you're driving there or one of the crew on the bus to take pictures of yourselves until you park up, but we can enhance that experience for them. Another standard RM. One of the most unusual lookalikes of the RMs are the ones which operate in Macedonia, in Skopje, the capital, and they fancied having buses like their old London buses. They sent a lot of the early post-war buses, surplus from London Transport over there, and they said, why can't we have those lovely buses that we got from London, something modernised but reminiscent, and they gave the job to the Chinese. So they looked on the internet, and far from the buses that actually they were trying to recall, they found pictures of route masters. So they thought, oh, we'll doctor the route master up as a Chinese do, and we'll sort of make it something different. And they came up with the with the current version there. If you've not seen one, it's a sort of mirror image of a route master, but it's altogether, it doesn't work really. It's kind of like a sort of tunnel to get down through the lower decks, and made by the Chinese. Everything that can fall apart does fall apart. Well, hello, it's your old mate Dave Spencer back with you again. And how was your visit to Showbus 2022, which is badged up as the last ever Showbus, but of course nothing is forever, so you don't know whether it will actually return under another guise. There is that potential. Anyway, it's been super having you along today, and it's been marvellous meeting so many of our friends out there. Lots and lots of you. I've done many selfies, and it always is a pleasure meeting our viewers. So I'll be meeting up with Mandy. We'll be just down the road, getting on the M1, going across the M6 up to home, and I think we've got perhaps a flan there to heat up in the oven, and a few baked beans, and then perhaps a piece of cake. And in the meantime, if we don't see you, stay well, stay safe, be good, and if you can, be kind to others, because we're living through difficult times, and people are sometimes a little bit fragile. And also be very very careful on social media. It's easy to upset people on it, and jokes sometimes backfire. So until the next time, from me, bye everybody, bye for now, bye everybody.